I'm back. Rhodes for the Matrixx and Rhodes show. Well, if you're looking for punches to be pulled in the world of entertainment, do not look in Bill Shatner's direction. Do not look in William Shatner's direction, because he's going to tell you exactly how he sees it. And he's telling us how he believes the legendary Gene Roddenberry would be seeing woke Star Trek these days. He also takes a nice shot at Star Wars as well, although he seems to have a blind spot for Mark Hamill, who's a total and complete lunatic. But he absolutely steps out and hammers today's incarnations of Star Trek. Look, I tried to watch Picard. I made it through the first episode, and I was out. Granted, I'm more of a Star Wars guy than Star Trek, but I like The Next Generation, and my sister is a big Star Trek fan. And I just can't do it. I can't make it through the crap I'm seeing on the screen. Recently, I did a video about Stacey Abrams actually guest starred in an episode, this new Star Trek that got out. And they had a video played during that episode, and it looked like a hell of a lot of Trump bashing. And like they were trying to connect dots back over to January 6th, and she just happened to be playing global president. Global, not United States president, global, which I believe is where we think a lot of people would love to see things go. Remember Joe Biden, New World Order? Anybody remember that? I remember that. Breitbart, William Shatner, Star Trek creator, would be turning over in his grave over woke current shows. During a far-ranging 1-hour chat at San Diego Comic-Con Saturday, pop culture icon Bill Shatner insisted that creator of the Star Trek universe would be extremely unhappy with the new Star Trek shows coming out from Paramount Plus. Writer and producer Gene Roddenberry created Star Trek for NBC television back in 1964. As we know, it is a cultural phenomenon now. When he began filming the series' first pilot, the show was not picked up from that effort, but NBC did give Gene another chance and asked him to make a few changes and craft another pilot. The second pilot, which brought on William Shatner as the legendary James T. Kirk, sold the series in 1966, thus launched one of the most successful properties in Hollywood history, ranging from 1966 to today. As a long list of new shows have appeared in the last few years on Paramount streaming service, the Star Trek universe has run the gamut of forms of entertainment, from TVs to movies to games, anime, cartoons, books, magazines, you name it. Star Trek has done it. Now, I can tell you one of my favorite channels is my guy over at Nerdrotic. And Gary, he pulls no punches about how bad Star Trek is these days. Doomcock as well. During the 1-hour chat, which ranged from, quote, fun topics to serious topics, with a copious amounts of foul language from both Bill and his host, Clerks director Kevin Smith. I'm going to have to go back and watch this interview. I can only imagine the horror on Kevin Smith's face when Shatner started railing on these new shows. Shatner was asked if he thinks any of the new Star Trek shows rival his own 3 seasons from 66 through 1968. Shatner was flat on the question, quote, none of them, he replied curtly. But it wasn't a reply merely out of ego. Shatner added he thinks Roddenberry would also agree. Quote, I've got to know creator Gene Roddenberry in 3 years fairly well, Bill said. He'd have been turning in his grave at some of this stuff. Indeed, it's well known inside Star Trek world that the modern producers of the various shows, including Star Trek The Next Generation, couldn't wait for Roddenberry to be out of the picture. Interesting. Next Generation's got a big following. Roddenberry kept a tight grip on his vision of Star Trek and his fellow producers felt that he restricted their creative process too much with his highly specific ideas about the sort of future his show would portray. When Roddenberry died in 1991, that finally gave producers of shows such as Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and Enterprise — I actually liked Enterprise a lot — the chance to take Star Trek into areas that Gene would never be allowed when he was alive and in control of the Star Trek universe. Yeah, I mean, I like Scott Bakula, so that didn't hurt because of Quantum Leap and some of these other things he showed up in. Even today's new series, the episodes are spinning off into areas that Gene would have never allowed. Star Trek star and TV director Jonathan Frakes recently acknowledged this when one of the episodes of Picard he had directed. Frakes noted that the episode, which portrayed conflict between two of the show's crew members, would have never happened when Gene was alive. Quote, "We never would have done a scene like this on our show," Frakes told The Hollywood Reporter in 2020. Why? Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek, believed that in Star Trek The Next Generation's 24th century, there were no conflicts among, quote, the family, the crew of the Enterprise. I like that, actually. Indeed, this season's Picard showed the United States in 2024 and portrayed immigration officials as uncaring, evil authoritarians who would be a part of what eventually leads Earth into a fascist dictatorship that reaches into space and begins terrorizing all the aliens of the galaxy. My God, that sounds terrible. William Shatner is 100% correct. Trek creator Gene Roddenberry would never approve all these new Star Trek shows. During the Comic-Con chat, Shatner took a humorous jab at a rival sci-fi universe, Star Wars. When asked about the George Lucas sci-fi franchise, Bill jokingly said, "Fuck Star Wars, but not Mark Hamill." And he does ask him about his experience going to space. Jeff Bezos, that's something we're not going to go over. But William Shatner's very open and honest. Number one, he damn sure doesn't like Star Wars too much. And look, that's always been sort of a rivalry thing between him and Hamill, and how he's felt about Star Wars. But I think it's unbelievable that Bill just comes right out and says Gene would not like any of these new shows. And you certainly get the massive impression that James T. Kirk himself does not like these new shows. From what I've seen, they're terrible. They're absolutely terrible. And one of these new Star Trek shows has got Anson Mount, who was in one of my favorite shows, Hell on Wheels, on AMC. I'm still not watching it. Okay, I'm still not checking that out. And I was looking forward to Picard, and it's been a train wreck. It's been an absolute train wreck. I made it through one episode. I said, this is terrible. And then I started following all the fuel and the fire that started coming out of that Picard series, and I was like, I'm glad I didn't try to waste my time with this shit. I mean, it's just like every other Hollywood property right now. It's gone woke. It's full of political agendas. And like I said, that episode that I had to do a video on where Stacey Abrams plays the global president. Oh, and she's a lunatic leftist out of Georgia. She's out there running her mouth about false voting law premises and everything else. Jim Crow 2.0. I don't care to see that kind of person in Star Trek. I just don't. Because that sends a clear message that the producers and the studio of the show, they're trying to convey a political opinion onto their viewership. And like I said, they literally have like MAGA hats and stuff in this flash over that they play in this video, and it's pretty unbelievable. It's the scene of the Capitol riot situation. At least they call it a riot. Anybody missed the summer of 2020? Because that's what I would call a riot, personally speaking. Tell me what you think, Matrixx and Rhodes Show fans. Bill Shatner not holding back. Black and White Network supporters, make sure you check out the Black and White Network merchandise store. Link in the description. Use promo code USA First, all one word. USA First, all one word. 25% off now.